and no one sees the same as anybody else. And you're bringing it into that child speak, which is the rhythm, the repetition. Repetition is absolutely key in the young child. Repetition is absolutely key in the young child. Because that's how it goes in and they learn. You think of the person that wants to become the best rugby player in the world, 10,000 hours, whatever it is, 100, I don't know.
It is,
it's a lot.
yeah.
And that's how you learn. You've got to repeat. You think the child is born and you look at a young baby and how they can't even control their hands or anything, and it's all they're out there, they very are. And so, and then they get into movement, they start to suck their fists and suck their toes and the little steps that they go through. So they're very much about entering and using and exploring the physical body until they get right down to the tips of their fingers and their toes. And that takes, what I believe, a good 7 years for them to explore in. And so if that's where their focus is, that's what their work is, then it's about working towards, within that parameter, that's where the child is, instead of taking it to the head and the intellect too early, so that then they can understand it. So through, all your movement, your finger games and whatever that you're doing is just absolutely perfect to give them the message. And the language, very important that they have very good, very clear, positive language. So instead of saying, as you said, don't walk down the stairs or you'll trip or be careful or whatever, you tell them what you want them to do. So one step at a time, whatever it is in the situation that they're in. But that's stuff that you know, I mean, clearly, because I'm hearing what you've written. You asked me before how I connect with children. And basically when a new child comes into my orbit, I'll just sit back, watch the child, eye contact, smile. Smile is the key all the time. And it's got to come from the heart, though. I can't be putting on a smile, which is not a truthful smile, but from the heart. Because for me, I just cannot help but feel endeared towards young children. And I always say to my mums who are going, oh yes, but they've done this and they've done that, and I'm just so sleep deprived, and I say, just go into the bedroom when they're asleep and just look at them and remember who they are and where they've come from, and that is not that child that is the one that is difficult for you during the day. This is the child, and what they're doing is trying to process and understand and adapt and be in this world that we as adults are quite familiar with. It's all new. It's all very new. Play is practice, practicing life. And so play is one thing I feel absolutely passionate and precious about, that the children do not lose, under the age of 7, the opportunity to play. Because then that's where they practice all these things that you're talking about. They get empathy. And that's one of the things that is missing in people, I believe. One of the things where they do bad deeds towards other people is there's no empathy, because if they stood in those shoes and felt what it was like to be treated in that manner, there would be I doubt that they would probably perform acts. By allowing them to act out what you're doing and playing through it. The play is, you don't teach empathy, they have to practice empathy by you giving them the stories, and then so for the children to fly, they feel it in their whole being. So then when they look up at the sky and they see the gulls moving, they can imagine what it's like.
They're connecting.
And so they know, oh my goodness, and the wings, they're just, feeling it. And then they'll know that, well, you need your wings. The wings are so important for them to be able to be, this is intellectualizing and breaking it down. The more we understand about each other, the more empathy we have for each other, I believe. Well, the best thing is to write your own stories and just tell a story from your experience. So when you were little, children absolutely love that. So there immediately you've created the connection. So when we do storytelling, it's about creating the connection. So basically I'm telling you a story at the moment and I feel a connection towards you. So when you bring the book in, you lose the connection. So that's why storytelling has that extra golden mile in it.